I would first like to introduce myself. My name is Renwicke, and I am so grateful and humbled to stand before you. I would first like to give recognition to all that have been instrumental in making this Speakers Bureau a possibility as well as a reality. I am a mental health consumer, and I have been on psychiatric medications since the age of 7 years old. My diagnoses at that time were hyperactivity and insomnia. My first medication was phenobarbital, and that was prescribed for my insomnia. I was then prescribed Ritalin for my hyperactiveness. The name hyperactivity is no longer used in describing this disorder. It is now commonly referred to as ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactive Disorder, although now it is referred to as mild autism. Mental illness has been around for many, many years, and they either ignored the person or just stuffed the person in an institution or someplace worse. I began self-medicating, which is another way of saying that I got high off of street drugs and or alcohol because something in my life or some chemicals in my brain was missing. I did not know something was missing. I just could not seem to fit in no matter how hard I tried. My first incarceration was when I was 13 years old for purse snatching, and although I was the driver of the car in this crime, I have been on a roller coaster ride that has lasted the majority of my life. My rap sheet is extremely long, mainly because of an older gentleman that I respected and that I looked up to. He said to me, if you start a habit or just using drugs, no matter what it is, you have to support that habit no matter what it is. Do not depend on the next person to support your habit for you. That statement really stuck with me. So the entire time that I was drinking and drugging, I had to make sure that I supported my habit. I became a functioning addict the entire time that I used. In July of 1997, I was diagnosed as a manic depressant, which is now referred to as bipolar. I am also diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder. It would seem that the symptoms are the same as schizophrenia, but in essence, they are only shared similar symptoms. Schizoaffective disorder is caused by long-term substance abuse, which causes adverse side effects. I have another disorder, which is referred to as asocial disorder. I must give credit for my sobriety, recovery, delivery to my higher power, who is my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I am a proud member of the Imani Community Church under the leadership of the Reverend Dr. George C.L. Cummings. I attend church services regularly, and I attend and I sing in the Voices of Faith gospel choir under the professional guidance of Minister Terrence Kelly. These are my spiritual supporters. I must also give recognition to appreciation, honor, and tribute to my mother, who prayed for me without ceasing, in hopes that the bondages of substance abuse and mental health challenges would release the hold that it had on me. My friends were also very instrumental in my quitting because they didn't use or sell anything illegal. I must admit that the drug culture lifestyle itself is a world all of its own and is very addictive for someone like me who has an addictive personality. I was always told that I couldn't quit using drugs, alcohol, or any other substance for someone else, and that I had to quit for myself. Well, that statement is not entirely true, because during my first month or so, I needed to find a reason to quit that was greater, bigger, and stronger than me and my weak willpower. So the first week, I quit for my mother. The second week, I quit for my kids. The third week, I quit for my grandkids. The fourth week, I quit for my friends who stuck with me through it all. The fifth week, I quit for the prospect of attracting a lifelong companion. And the sixth week, I made a conscious decision not to be homeless by choice any longer. Now, it just goes to show you that although I couldn't quit for myself in the beginning, I was able to abstain long enough for me to assume responsibility of quitting for myself. I am now clean from crack cocaine since May 9, 2001, powder cocaine since April 18, 2003, alcohol since July 2, 2007, and marijuana since May the 28th of 2009. I am still recovering from the damages and the carnage that long-term substance abuse has caused me. Not only were drugs financially costly, but it has cost me many relationships with friends and family. Some of these relationships were severed due to my isolation or the mistrust of those individuals that I had wronged. I am presently enrolled and participating in the 18-month DUI program in order to reinstate my driving privileges. I am able to drive with a restricted driver's license, but my actual driving privileges will not be restored until January 2011, and that is contingent upon my completing the 18-month DUI program. Because I have never voted, this year will be my first election that I will have voted in during my entire 47 years on this earth. I have never been called for jury duty, which means that I have never been a law-abiding citizen until recently. My small accomplishments may not seem like much to the average Joe, but it speaks volumes to a person that is used to only doing the right thing when someone was looking at me. But now I choose to do the right thing while nobody is looking at me. That phrase was a phrase that I memorized while watching a Hollywood Henderson motivational tape, and that stuck with me. At the present, I am employed with Recovery Innovations of Alameda County in the capacity of a recovery coach. I would like to pay tribute to a person who made a difference in my life, the late Mr. Thomas Walker, not just because he was my case manager, but because he showed an interest in me. I honestly do not believe that if it had not been for Alameda County Behavioral Health Care Services and the late Mr. Thomas Walker, I probably would not be standing before you today. Mr. Walker provided housing for me and paid my rent for 1 full year. Many of you might have or have had a Thomas Walker in your life. In closing, I promised everyone that didn't give up on me that I would straighten up and fly right, and that I would make them proud of me. I am attempting to fulfill that vow. I would like to thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to share a portion of my life story with you. May God bless you and keep you from the harms of this world. This is my story, and I'm sticking with it. Thank you.